Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Pash On Podcast. Let's get started with your host, Brian Pash.
Hi, this is Brian Pash, and welcome to another podcast session. I am so grateful to have Julie Scott. She is the VP of Cars Media, which includes Cars.com, DI, and all the customers in their ecosystem of advertising and media products. Julie, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Brian. I am excited to be here. So much good stuff going on. So thank you for having me.
Julie, I think it's smart that Cars as an organization, as it's acquired key products and has developed a true end-to-end retailing platform for dealers to set up one person in charge of the media strategy. When you talk to dealers, oftentimes when Cars is mentioned, they're like, oh, we mean Cars.com. When we talk about Cars, we're talking about an integrated ecosystem to help car dealers retail their vehicles efficiently. How do you describe it to dealers, what your role is in the organization?
Yeah, sure. It's a very good question. And you're right. Cars as a platform is really expanding, right? It's no longer just a marketplace, or it's no longer just dealer inspire website solutions. It is AccuTrade. It is Credit IQ. It is a lot of digital retailing opportunity in a single platform, right? And so while those many brands might exist to a dealer, there is connection right behind the scenes that is really thinking about the dealer from a single point of view at Cars. My role is now really thinking about, on behalf of dealers, how do we help them think about their media strategy, that sort of messaging, go-to-market, omni-channel strategy. And we've been doing this. This isn't new. This isn't new at Cars. What's new about it is, as we grow as a platform, how do we connect the media strategy across all of the digital retail products that we offer today? And so really thinking about a holistic strategic approach for a dealer on how to communicate all that they offer in a seamless way that is connected to our products.
Julie, I love the direction that Cars is taking. Alex Vetter is not only a colleague, but a friend, and I've always respected his insights and knowing where to fill in the pieces. And you mentioned some of the products that are in the portfolio. Of course, fuel is one of those products. When dealers were looking for a way to reach the connected TV customer. And I've used the word connected retailing because, maybe the vision of what digital retailing was somewhat interrupted by the pandemic. Maybe we've stepped backwards a little bit in selling cars online because with supply shortages, dealers are charging more than MSRP in some cases, or selling them as quickly as they get on the lot. But I do like this connected retailing, that the online experience is the same as in the in-store experience, but there's a parallel to that. And you mentioned it, the connected media strategy, that what someone sees in their streaming television series, what someone sees on Facebook, what someone sees in Google search, and eventually what they see in the dealer website needs to be connected. This is the holy grail. So what has changed, or what changes are you seeing that you believe Cars can provide the connected media experience that dealers have been seeking for a very long time?
There's a few different ways to answer this. The question is so spot on, though, Brian, that I'm excited to talk about it. So bear with me. I'm going to start at a macro level, just in the media world, not necessarily in auto, but I think the story will resonate with you and everyone who's listening. There's a thing called a media network that is just launching all over the retail world, not just auto, but just digital retail. Let me give you some examples. There are well-known brands, right? Like Walmart Connect.
Right.
Lowe's Home Improvement even has a media network called Lowe's One Roof. And you say, well, what? Why? Well, these are digital brands who own a very large first party shopper audience. Let me give you an example. Let's say you're a listener right now and you've been on Lowe's.com. You're shopping for new kitchen appliances. You're comparing, let's say, Kenmore and KitchenAid. Lowe's now knows that you are a true in-market shopper for kitchen updates or kitchen renovation. Lowe's can do one of two things. They can either give that first-party data to a data provider who will collect that data, create lookalikes, make an audience they call intenders, and go target people who aren't really in market anymore. They're just intenders. Or Lowe's can keep that first-party data and offer it back to Kenmore KitchenAid and help them continue to target that exact shopper both on their site and then retarget them off-site. Meaning, why would Lowe's ever give that data away when they have an opportunity to help the brands that they work with and help the shopper that's come to their site and give them a better experience? And we've all been there. You know that creepy moment when you're on Instagram or Facebook and you get targeted the ad for exactly what you were shopping for?
Yeah, and Julie, I heard on CNBC an analyst saying no one thought of Walmart as a media company, but they were thinking about adding some streaming services to their Walmart Plus membership. And the idea is that there are so many eyeballs on Walmart, very much like the eyeballs that are on Cars.com, that advertisers would love to tap into that first party data, present their products and services at a relevant time. And it seems that, the Wall Street community and businesses in general now are seeing that these customer data platforms that Walmart used to keep internally, and Lowe's and others, if there was a way to access them, boy, not only is it a revenue stream for Walmart, but it allows marketing professionals, and let's talk about automotive dealers and OEM brands, to reach consumers in a more targeted fashion.
Exactly. So that is at Cars an opportunity for our dealers and our consumers alike, right? So my opportunity is to really think about, how do I help a dealer leverage their own first party audience on their site, plus the first party shoppers on Cars, and target that exact pure in-market shopper offsite across multiple channels. So you mentioned connected TV, but don't stop there. Display, social, SEM.
Yep.
So think of it as an omni-channel opportunity, whether you are Walmart, Lowe's, or a dealer, right? We're all in some version of retail. And if you really just keep it simple, all any brand wants to do, regardless of what you're selling, is be as efficient as possible with their media spend and truly target the person who is shopping for their product. It improves the shopper experience, it improves the advertiser experience, and it really is a change in the media landscape. And I see that happening in auto very quickly on the heels of these Walmarts and Lowe's and everyone else who's doing it.
Yes, and the idea that dealer groups that are more sophisticated are creating their own customer data platform, CDP, and then tying it in with, say, the Cars Inc. CDP, right?
Mm-hmm.
The efficiency by which they can go to market and bring best-in-class first-party data to the table and make their advertising more efficient. One of the things, Julie, that I've been talking to dealers about, and sometimes you have to be careful because people don't understand motives, but inventory supply is starting to loosen up. Used car prices have stabilized, maybe come down a little bit, and dealers have to get back to the basics Almost like that Field of Dreams, right?
Mhm.
If you build it, they won't come unless people know about it. How
This
is
is right.
Cars helping dealers kind of reacquaint themselves that, hey, the party's over and we need to get back to fundamental storytelling about the products you have, the services you offer, and more importantly now, Julie, the retail experience that is being built to make it faster and easier for them to own a car.
You're right. You just said something I also like to say was, Field of Dreams. There was just the game last week between the Cubs and the Reds, and you're right. If you build it, they don't come. Actually, in advertising, you can have a dealer site that has the most connected retail solutions on the site, but if you are not advertising all of those solutions, the audience will not come. You can't expect an audience to come just because you've added uh, instant financing to your site, right? They belong together. The product that you've added and the communication to reach a shopper. And look, I believe that even as the auto landscape changed, dealers are the heart of their communities, and dealers have an opportunity to message their why buy more now than ever. And that can be everything from service to financing to vehicle acquisition, right? And I think about our product, AccuTrade, right? And I think about, boy, you could put AccuTrade on your site, but if no one knows about it, who cares, right? AccuTrade plus marketing have to live together, and the more dealers think about it the way like you have to advertise everything you're doing, it's not just about sales, it's not just about incentives anymore. It can't be. It has to be about vehicle acquisition. It has to be about service. We have to think about those things as not just products that dealers have or offerings that dealers have. They have to be messaged to the community in a way like they've never been before.
And Julie, that aligns with what I've been telling dealers about their used car acquisition strategy. It has to be intentional. One of the things we've known, and I've been writing about this, my concerns with the franchise dealer model, with the consumer direct model, with maybe build to order. There's a lot of uncertainty on how the new car go to market strategy will be, but there's some consistency. That's consumers need to service their cars, and the penetration of EVs will be much slower than some of the experts predict because of charging stations, infrastructure, and other things. And that means used cars has to be an intentional strategy, not an occasional strategy, not, hey, we got a few trades, but very, very intentional. And with the AccuTrade acquisition, with the Dealer Inspire website platform, with the integration on cars.com, what are you telling dealers they need to do to connect their we'll buy your car direct from a consumer instead of just relying on the wholesale auctions?
Sure. We recently, it's such a smart strategic approach. If I'm a dealer today and I'm thinking about my media spend, I can't think about it as media spend alone. I have to think about media and the why. You know, the old saying, right message, right place, right time.
Right.
Right. Message is a part of that, right? Right place, right time. First party audience. We talked about that, and I could go on all day about that. But right message. Today's message, regardless of like some of the things you mentioned that might be coming with EVs, changing user experience and how they want to buy a car, or the potential for more pre-orders, or sort of these agent relationships with OEMs. I think that dealers will continue to own the local community relationships more than ever. But the message might change. The message is going to be why buy from me, and it might be about service. So is in your media spend, are you thinking about your service campaigns in new ways? Are you thinking about your vehicle acquisition? One of the things that we've seen when we've run vehicle acquisition display ads for some of our dealers is we're seeing 4 times the conversion rate on a vehicle acquisition message display ad to a dealer site. And we're seeing an increase on dealer time on site from 2 minutes to 15 minutes. That means that the sort of sales ads of the past, they've not gone away. It's just we have to evolve. What is that right message, right place, right time?
Yeah, and Julie, I think consumers now, I mean, we're 18 months into inventory shortage. They already know that supply is very tight. We joke in the past about the check availability button as just being a old school lead capture, but today check availability is like a real thing. A friend of mine's son, a new driver, wrecked their brand new Bronco, and the dealer said, we will be able to fix it. It could be 6 months, 12 months plus, because we don't have all the parts, right? So consumers really need to understand, will my dealer help me find the vehicle I want? Will my dealer stand behind me? Or is it just, hey, it's a volume game and I'm just another number? So those messages of the entire consumer life cycle and how the local dealer fits in are important. Julie, I want to talk about the complexity of media today and the platform, the omni-channel platform. I was just on vacation in Europe, and I'm pretty fascinated by Facebook's advertising engine. I saw a men's swimsuit. I needed some new swimwear, and just like you said, I was talking to my wife, I should get some new bathing suits, and lo and behold, in my feed is swimsuits. But here's what was interesting. And back to your point of just because you have it doesn't mean people will see it. After I engaged with that one swimsuit ad, within minutes in my Facebook feed was 3 other men's swimwear brands. It is so amazing. These are companies I never heard of before and actually had very interesting products. I click on a watch ad and there's 3 or 4 other watch, presentations. And I bring this up is because since Cars is a omni-channel media platform, yes, a consumer may be looking at a Toyota Tundra, but we have no idea if that was the only model they were looking at. And from what I understand, the Cars media platform is quite sophisticated, so it will show other trucks in that dealer's inventory in a smart way, watch engagement. So just like Facebook introduced me to 3 other swimwear brands, and I actually bought one of these brands that I never heard before, I was very happy. Same way, when you can approach someone in an OTT or a Facebook ad or a Google, or you mentioned display or even email marketing, when all those pieces are put together, you really can maximize the shopper session because you have access to inventory that your intelligence ad engine can say they're probably best to show these other vehicles as well. How is that evolving? That Cars is really developing a machine learning optimized ad engine across these different channels.
Yes. So the example that you shared is a good one. We've all been there. I sometimes think like my phone is always listening to me. Like I don't even like. There's a moment where you're like, did I search for a bathing suit? How does it know? Did it hear me talking about it?
Exactly.
But those are cookies, right? Those are cookies. They're following you. And although Google has kicked the can down the road on the cookieless future, and for those listening who haven't heard that, Google has pushed that out another year. But it is coming. It is coming. And the heart of your question, Brian, is how do we prepare for that? Because the experience you had is helpful, but if a cookie goes away, how do I get targeted with the things I'm really shopping for, right? And I'll say audience, audience, audience. There's, if you don't mind, I'm going to talk about this for a minute, but there's a couple of things I want to say here. And one is whether you're a dealer right now and you're working with a media agency or a ad product vendor, they're going to come to a dealer and say, here's the new product and here's the new way we're going to do it. But think about it. If that vendor or agency is working with Experian or Acxiom or any of the big data players, do they have in-market shoppers? So go back to Lowe's. Lowe's has in-market shoppers. Cars.com has in-market car shoppers. Does Experian or Acxiom have in-market car shoppers? No. What they do are they collecting the audiences through cookies, creating audiences and profiling, creating target segments. And that first party audience is going to be more and more important. I was at a Google event just recently, and it was 60-ish dealers in the room. And Google said over and over again, protect your first party audience, prepare your first party audience. Like I quote, first party data is the way to drive your business forward. Now, let me connect that a couple of dots. The shopper journey. No one follows the same path, right? No single customer goes down the exact same path as another. Consumers come into the shopping journey for a car from different points. On cars.com, we know probably about 70% of the shoppers who come to our site are undecided. And because of inventory shortages, we also know that they're buying faster than ever. 50% will buy a car in 30 days or less. 30 days or less. So sort of gone are the days of like, well, someone's going to start at the top of the funnel, then move to middle funnel, then move to low funnel. Consumers are really going through that journey faster than ever. And so you really have to have an omni-channel strategy with multiple messages and multiple channels at any given time, right? The brand message for a dealer will always be important. I'll say that over and over again. I think they are the heart of their communities. I do think staying relevant and why I do the community, but you have to think more on service, vehicle acquisition in particular, and think about those shoppers who are undecided, why they're undecided, and how quickly they're going to make a decision, right? So if I say like, okay, if Google is saying first party data is the future, let me connect it, right? Google's saying first party data is the future, and we know shoppers are moving through the funnel faster than ever. The key to dealer success is that tried and true statement I said earlier. It's right message, right place, right time. So if I'm a dealer and listening to this right now, I'm writing down 2 questions. My 2 questions are for my ad agency. 1, what audiences are you targeting in my media buys? And if the agency says, oh, we're working with a data company, we're building audiences, and we know there are 400 million shopping intenders in the US at any time, stop them. How many people are in the US? It's not as many as 400 million people shopping for a car. The second question is, ask them how they're using your own first party data and how quickly they're using that data to target and retarget an actual shopper. You've only got 30 days. So you can't wait for the audience to be built and then they're going to target them, and 30 days later, 45 or 60 days later, that shopper has bought a car. So first party data is the fastest way to target a shopper, the purest way, the most efficient way, the most effective way. And if I'm a dealer, I'm really thinking about what is right message, right place, right time. Because we have little time, got to get in the right place, and messages now need to vary.
Well, Julie, I think you summarized the key elements of today's framework that dealers have to think about when it comes to marketing. And more importantly, as Cars has the technology, meaning national sales portal with consistent pricing and tools that match a dealer's Dealer Inspire website, having a connected retail experience with channels to do conversational commerce or pick up the phone and call, whatever, then matched with a unique blend of the dealer's first-party data with Cars' first-party data is really a compelling case to reimagine what modern retailing is all about. And I want to encourage dealers who were intrigued with this message to mark your calendars for November 13th, 14th, and 15th. That's the Modern Retailing Conference in Palm Beach, Florida. The team from Cars will be there, along with industry leaders who are sharing the future of automotive retailing. We have 5 educational tracks this year. We have a creative track, we have a marketing track, we have a GA4 track, we have a sales process track, and very exciting, we have an HR track. So we have something for everyone. And dealers need to really prepare for the new normal. As Julie mentioned, now more than ever, dealers have to be thinking about those core messages on car acquisition, service, brand experience, and of course, new car models. But it has to be intentional, not accidental, and it needs to be driven the most efficient way. Julie, if a dealer wanted to learn more about Cars' omni-channel marketing strategy powered by your first-party data, what's the best website, link, or way in which they should get a demo of the latest tech offered by Cars Inc.?
Sure. Well, first thing, I'll just back you up on joining the Modern Retailing Conference. I'll actually be speaking on Monday at the conference about this very topic, and have sort of a fun play on what that means when it comes to media. It's this idea of chips and salsa and how the local grocery store is sort of taught us everything we need to know about digital retailing.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that on the schedule. I was like, wow, I hope Julie brings it up, because that's one of the catchiest keynote titles I've ever seen.
And it'll be fun. So I'll hold out until then, but I have this theory that's been going around the Cars office about chips and salsa and why they belong together, and why your dealer site, the products you offer, the services, everything that a dealer has to offer really needs to sit as closely as chips and salsa with their media spend and their message.
All right. That is awesome. And if a dealer wanted to get a demo of their latest Cars technology, what's the best way to set up a demo?
Yeah, there are, I think the best way to set up a demo is to speak with your local Cars sales and partnerships reps in your market. We have a large field team out there in the community with the dealers, and they should speak with a Cars AE, or I would be happy to talk to any dealer about future media strategies, and they can find me on LinkedIn, Julie Scott on LinkedIn.
Great. Well, Julie, thank you so much for your time. It's really amazing to see the growth of Cars Inc., the acquisition strategy, the smart integration of these tools and the application, some new key hires to the staff, and couldn't be more excited to hear your keynote at the Modern Retailing Conference. If this is the first time you're listening to one of my podcasts, you should know that there are dozens of great interviews with industry leaders, disruptors, and visionaries talking about the future of modern retailing. So don't forget to look at the Brian Pash podcast on Spotify, Google Play, or the native Libsyn, brianpash.libsyn.com. That's LIBSYN.com. Julie, thank you so much for your time today. And for everyone who's listening, look forward to spending time with you again in a future podcast session.